now we'll begin exploring your career identity using your Holland Code results. Um, I'd like to invite you into a reflective process around your three-letter Holland Code.
Okay.
So keep the code and what they mean in mind as we go through a few questions together. And before we begin, I'd like you to know the goal here isn't to get right answers, but to build a deeper understanding of what those codes mean for you personally and for your career planning. So feel free to respond in a way that feels natural.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with your three-letter Holland code. Could you remind me what it was?
Yeah, I remember. If I remember right, my three Holland courses, I, S, and E.
Yeah. Great. So you got I for investigative, E for enterprising, and S for social. Let's unpack that a little bit more together. So if someone asked you to describe what each of these letters meant, how would you explain it to them?
Okay, for the I investigative, I think it's more like working in a science lab, and you try to like find out what it is, like the roots of everything. And for the social, I think like it's interaction with people out there rather than like sitting at home and talk to yourself. And for the enterprising, it's more like leading people, like taking the leadership role.
Yes, exactly. Like you said, investigative people are more analytical, curious, and they like to work with numbers and data. And for enterprising people who like to work with other people, persuade, lead, and motivate others. And social people like to work with other people too, and they like helping others and working for the benefit of the community as a whole. And what do you think about the order of your three-letter code? How would you explain it?
Yeah, I think it's quite right for me, except for the enterprising, because I don't see myself as a good leader, because it's like take a lot of responsibility, and it's quite hard for me to like having a responsibility for the whole groups. But the other two, like the investigative and the social, is fine with me.
So it sounds like the other two codes, investigative and social, was you expected them and you're fine with them, but the enterprising was surprising as you don't see yourself as a leader, rather a follower or listener like you mentioned earlier. And let's unpack that a little bit more together. So on a scale where 1 is least important and 10 is most, how would you rate your three letters in terms of how much each one reflects who you are? And the next thing I want you to do is interpret the location of your three letters on that scale.
Okay, so I'll give the investigative 9 out of 10, because as I tell you earlier, my whole family is come from a medical field background. So when I was young until now, I will always stick with science subjects like chemistry and biology. So I feel like I like working with numbers, and I like to find out like what's exactly the answer for the questions, and I like to find out like the roots of everything. For the social, I give it 8 out of 10, because actually I'm an introvert, so I like to spend time for myself, and sometimes I like to going out with my friend as well, my friend and family, and I like to help people. Like when I see someone having struggle with their problems, I'll tend to come and ask them like, what's your problem, and hear their story without judging. And for the enterprisings, I give it 7 out of 10, because normally I will be the follower and like the listener in the groups. I like working. I'm working with myself, and I will asking for help if it need, but I don't really like to lead people. Yeah.
So it sounds like you really lead with investigative traits and interests, but the other three still play a big role. Seeing how you rated them quite closely, and the order is how you rated them is ISE, and that shows that you lead with investigative skills and you prefer social skills and also then the enterprising skills because you don't see yourself as a leader, more of a follower, and you like to work on your own rather than in a group. And yeah, so let's move on to the next question. So let's look at how your investigative side shows up in real life. Can you think of examples, maybe from your uni, your work life, or even your hobbies, when you see that curious, analytical part of yourself come alive?
Yeah. So when I'm studying, there are lots of knowledge that I don't know, right? Sometimes like they just mention the knowledge without like saying where is it come from or what is it. So I tend to like curious about like what actually is it and how it's important for us. So I rather like spend time like a whole day to just find out what is it like and how is it working, how does it affect our life. Yeah.
So it sounds like investigative really ties in with your love for analyzing and learning things in a deeper way, and that makes sense, especially with your family background in the medical field. And you also mentioned a real love for science, and science being a structural and based on evidence-based field. It shows that you really like to work in such a setting where you can analyze and understand things, and this links nicely with your value of security, because your interest in analyzing and understanding things may help you get feel more in control and prepared, which shows your desire for stability and security. How about your enterprising side? When do you notice yourself taking initiative, persuading, motivating, or leading others?
Yeah, it's quite surprised, and I think in my workplace, there's like several new people just come. So of course I'm the oldest of them all, so I like to stand up and then to organize like job for them to do, and I tend to helping them with their struggles, like because they are new people, so there's lots of things that they didn't know yet. So I quite being the leaders of the groups, and then teaching them that you can do this and you can do that, and until they can do all the jobs on their own, and I think that's quite being the leaderships.
It sounds like in the beginning, enterprising was quite a surprise to you when we started our conversation, but now it seems like your enterprising side is more evident in your workplace. Yeah, so that's a great example for quiet leadership, I think. Like you mentioned, you like to motivate others and your colleagues, and until they can do their work on their own, and that shows that you take initiative when it matters, and that ties in nicely with your value of benevolence, helping groups function well and stepping up for the collective good, especially in your workplace. Now, and how about your social? Do you see yourself as someone who enjoys helping or supporting others in any way?
Yeah, of course. I like to help people. That's why I'm choosing to study psychology as well. When I go out, I like to helping like a lot of people who come from Vietnam, like to me as well. So there's lots of Vietnamese people, they cannot speak English that well, so I tend to come and then asking what's your struggle, what your problems, and how can I help them. Like if they are lost and they don't know what they name in English, I'll helping them with the English skill. And I like to hearing my friend's story as well without judging. It's more comfortable when they share their problems with someone else, and we would like to find out the solution together.
So from what you have said, it sounds like you're a very empathetic listener and you listen without judging, and that's a very good trait, I believe. And also you mentioned stepping in to support especially fellow Vietnamese speakers who have trouble speaking in English, and that's such a meaningful strength, and it shows how your agreeableness scores shines through that, and your willingness to help others, and yeah, just be present in the moment, and it shows that even though you're not highly extroverted, you do stand up when it's needed. Okay. Now, when you think about your work or uni life or maybe even your relationships, how do these three letters show up across those different parts of your life?
Yeah, so I think they appear together. Like when I work, I have to like socialize with people. I cannot work like because I work in the law firms and at the receptions, so I have to speak to people. I have to find out their problems, and because of that, I need to investigate. Like I need to find out their problem and find out their solutions to help my clients. And about taking enterprising, yeah, because we have to work like effectively, so there need to be a leader who can organize work, who organize the job and spread it into the members. Yeah, who can like taking care of everyone and to see the overall organization.
And how about your social?
For my social, I think that's why I tend to like seeing people, like I tend to sense their problems. Yep, and then I'll come to and then ask them, okay, so do you have any problem you're suffering with? And then I'll help them.
That's really good, because now it shows that how your investigative side and also your enterprising side are really helpful in your workplace, where you have to understand people's problems and also lead them, and that's really necessary in your workplace, especially as a legal secretary. And you also mentioned you love to explore new ideas and understand new things, work with numbers, so your investigative side is evident over there too. And as for your social, it's more reflective in your relationships, because you like to listen to people, help them, and notice when they need help. Now, after talking through all of this, what personal qualities stand out as really important to you, and what do you want to carry forward in your career journey?
Okay, so I think like both three of the Holland course are really important to me. However, I still see that the social part is the more like essential personal quality for me, because when I go out to social, when I'm talking with people, and you know it's helpless when you just talking with them without doing anything and without feeling anything.
Yes.
So that's why the enterprising and the investigative will come out at the result. And I think like being interact with people is most important.
Okay. So from what you have said, it sounds like your social personal quality is more important, because especially with your degree in psychology, you need to interact with people efficiently, and like you said, your other two qualities follow closely, and they come to your resort when it's necessary. So it shows how they all work in different ways, but also interdependently together, and you need all of them to reflect yourself. Okay, is there anything now you have realized about yourself through this reflection process that will help you in your career decision making?
Yeah, I think I was quite surprised at enterprising as well, enterprising, but now I think I'm quite understanding why it's there, why it's like in the top three, because as I say at the beginning, I don't like to be in the leadership, but now I think being the leader is not always like stand up to people and say I'm now being the leader and you have to listen to me. I can do it. I can do that in silence. Just need to organize, like take caring the group members and showing to them that you can take their responsibility.
That's a really good insight what you have shared. Like now, after our reflective process, you have realized how your enterprising side is evident, and it makes sense now, and it has revealed your leadership style. It's a more quiet and supporting leadership style compared to the assertive and stern leadership style of others. And I thank you for walking through all of that with me. I really appreciate you for your time. Thank you.